I've been very pleased to see the response of lawyers in Chicago who support Cabrini-Green Legal Aid. The need is certainly greater, and the ability to provide for that need, our ability to do that, has greatly increased. The executive directors who followed me have really been inspired to take the organization to a new level, levels that I'd never even thought about.
Well, I got my college degree at a school named Bethel College in St. Paul. One of the things we talked about there, we want to do something where we could give back to the community. And it was college stuff in a way. It was ill-defined. And when I met Chuck HOGREN and the program that he was trying to pursue, that synced up with my desires to be of some good to somebody. The values of Chuck HOGREN, I think, have become institutionalized at CGLA. The values that it's right to help those who are down on their luck.
We're always sort of drawn to a single guiding light, which is what we were founded to do.
I mean, you're exactly right. The mission has stayed the same. There have been so many changes, like you allude to, but we're staying true to that mission that he set.
The highest value of the board through the years was maintaining the HOGREN values behind CGLA.
I've been blessed to be a part of a couple of transitions of the leadership of the organization, and that's also very exciting. You know, we've had a really good run of consistent leadership.
In examining the organization and whether or not I wanted to be part of the organization, one thing that did strike me was that CGLA's values are in direct alignment with my own personal values.
Definitely the hardest 7 years of my career. Without question, the most fulfilling and the most exciting. I loved that job.
My top priority was really honing in on those things that if somebody came to us and we couldn't take them because of a capacity reason, that those people had nowhere else to go. And so we really took all of our resources and focused it in on the people who needed us the most.
CGLA just tapped into my heart and my soul in a way that I know no other organization ever will.
And the thing that always appealed to me was that perhaps because of its roots as a faith-based organization, it was always important at the clinic to be doing what other people weren't going to do.
But I distinctly remember a board meeting, and the question that was presented was, should we drop the criminal law practice because it's very expensive? And the discussion around the table of the board at that pivotal meeting concluded that no, we weren't going to drop the criminal practice. It was the most Christian thing that we did as an organization.
It always spoke to me that the organization would come back around to its roots and say we're not going to turn our back on people just because basically everybody else has.
As we started to make the turn towards criminal justice work, we knew that there was a probability that some people who traditionally funded civil legal aid might decide that we weren't a match anymore. I do remember sitting with a funder one day, a long-term CGLA funder, and having a discussion about where we were going, and he kind of just shook his head and he looked at me and he said, "So do you just not want my money?" My response was, I don't do the work I do because I want your money. We do the work we do because people in the city of Chicago need that work.
Governments aren't perfect, cities aren't perfect, people aren't perfect. We need organizations like CGLA to constantly think about the people.
One of my initiatives right out of the gate was to sort of bring life into the advisory board and really sort of reframe what that group was charged with doing.
Every organization needs some mechanism to allow people who are very passionate about the cause but don't necessarily have a lot of time to give back. And I think the advisory board serves that capacity.
We also set about adding folks and making sure that we have sort of the collection of skill sets that we needed.
When I first got involved with CGLA, I remember thinking to myself, why would they value my participation and what would I be able to bring to the organization? Because I thought it was a whole bunch of lawyers, and I'm not a lawyer.
We had lots of lawyers on the board when I started and not lots of other professional skills.
There were a couple of key challenges that the organization had, and one of them was their outreach to corporations. And I was a corporate guy, And I was able to actually provide insight into how you can partner with companies, which is different than how you partner with law firms.
And then we added a Young Professionals Board.
I think the Young Professionals Board is a great group of young people who we are pulling up the ranks to be able to govern.
We've done a good job of having leaders come up through the organization.
I mean, that's the value that I got from being on the YPB, was getting that experience, and then moving up to the board was just a plus on how to stay involved with the organization.
On the one hand, it's sort of like the teaching ground for building that board leadership, and on the other hand, it's a unique opportunity to engage young professionals in the work. They do that through volunteerism and fundraising, and I think that starting at that level really begins to pique the interest.
Thank you so much for coming and supporting the organization, and I hope everybody has a great time and drinks a lot of wine.
We have to engage with people in the legal profession, let them know that we are here and the work that we are doing is extremely impactful. On a more social level, you need to bring people together who have maybe varying opinions. I think an event like this allows a venue to foster dialogue.
We appreciate our board members, our Young Professionals Board, and our advisory board for all they do.
Oftentimes you see people move from the YPB to the board because those are the people who are most committed to CGLA, understand what CGLA is all about, and are the most passionate about it.
I'm definitely looking forward to taking that opportunity to develop my leadership with the organization.
The collection of those three boards, we called them 3B. It kind of took on an identity of its own. Each person knew where they fit into the leadership scheme, but 3B became this collaboration of leaders who are deeply committed to CGLA. And it always makes me happy when I see Gretchen and now Esther send out an email to 3B, because 3B is stuck, and there's a real realization that this group of leaders working together can drive impact.
And of course, I wouldn't be standing here today without the commitment and all of the work that is done by our staff members. So staff, please raise your hands. Please give my staff a warm welcome.
Whatever glow there is off the organization that we receive for being on the board actually has nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with the people who are in the field doing their job.
We can't recognize them enough and the value to this organization. To me, it's all about the staff.